Hello, welcome to Levant TV Headlines. The European Union says it remains fully committed to tackling the threat posed by the Islamic State extremist group after it beheaded US aid worker Peter Kasich. US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel says that the US military is accelerating its efforts to train and advise Iraqi forces fighting Islamic State militants. Gulf leaders have agreed on the return of Saudi, Emirati and Bahraini envoys to Qatar after an extraordinary meeting in Riyadh, promising an end to 8 months of tense relations. An Egyptian court has referred 5 university students to military trial over a violent protest under a controversial new law expanding the army's powers to try civilians. And a Palestinian bus driver was found hanged in his vehicle in West Jerusalem overnight in what Israeli police said was an apparent suicide, but a colleague said looked like murder. Now let's have a look at top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting in the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that the ISIS group has released a video claiming the beheading of US aid worker Peter Kasich and a warning to Washington as it prepares to send more troops to Iraq. The paper also reports that Qatar, host of the 2022 Football World Cup, has pledged to introduce new legislation to replace the controversial kafala sponsorship system and improve conditions for migrant workers by early 2015. From Beirut, the Daily Star reports that ISIS has extended by 4 hours the ultimatum it had set for the Lebanese government to revoke death sentences handed down to Islamists in Rounia prison, threatening to execute 7 captives. The paper also reports that a pair of car bombs targeted busy commercial areas in the Iraqi capital Baghdad, killing at least 14 people and wounding 31. From Egypt, the Egypt Independent reports that the Interior Ministry and prominent Salafi leaders have warned against protests called for by Islamist groups opposed to the incumbent regime stated for 28th of November, as some proponents of the demonstrations vow an Islamic revolution. The paper also reports that rain fell for the first time yesterday this winter in some governorates, which caused traffic jams for students and employees on their way home. Now let's have a look at top Middle East headlines from papers here in London. The Independent leads Middle East section reporting that Yvette Cooper, the Shadow Home Secretary, has said that the failure to allow more refugees into Britain from war-torn Syria is a shocking neglect of duty. After committing to admit up to 500 refugees, the government has officially confirmed that only 50 have been able to come to this country, a stark contrast to other European countries including Germany, where thousands of refugees from Syria have been accepted. The Telegraph leads Middle East news reporting that the ISIS video announcing the killing of Peter Kasich follows the first reverses on the battlefield for the jihadist group. The paper says the fact that it focuses on the broader picture rather than individual recent battles is a sign that ISIS is not making much progress on the ground. Also from the UK, The Guardian leads Middle East news reporting that Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Bahrain have agreed to return their ambassadors to Qatar, signaling an end to an 8-month rift over Doha's support for Islamist groups. The announcement was made by the GCC and came after an emergency meeting in the Saudi capital Riyadh to discuss the dispute, which was threatening an annual summit set to be held in Qatar's capital Doha in December. And now let's have a look at top Middle East headlines in international papers. From China, the Global Times leads Middle East news reporting that UAE's it's Prime Minister. One more time, yeah? From China, the Global Times leads Middle East news reporting that UAE's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum received Palestinian Prime Minister Rami Hamdillah and assured him that Gulf Arab states' support for keeping an Arab character in Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem. And finally, Germany's Deutsche Welle reports that Jordan is known for its hospitality, but the small country has begun to feel the strain of the refugee influx. In the town of Ramtha on the border with Syria, locals complain that resources such as water are becoming scarce, while prices and rents have increased. And for more updates, please visit our website levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, and bye for now.